Hi, this is Karen Sully with Fellowships of the Spirit. I am here with Mark Thomas, taking a closer look at his upcoming course that's offered this week. And it's entitled Sermon on the Key Components of Sermon on the Mount. And Mark, you say right off the bat, now for something completely different. So where are you going with this course?
Yeah, that's the subtext for the course. It's a line I borrowed from the Monty Python's Flying Circus TV show. They used to be going in a certain direction on the show, and then boom, they'd go off in a totally different direction. And so I love that line. Now for something completely different. Well, what's different about the Sermon on the Mount? What's different about this program is that this is really a look at the deeper levels and the deeper meanings of this particular three passages from the book of Matthew, entitled The Sermon on the Mount, delivered by Jesus of Nazareth some 2,000 years ago. A very Eastern spirituality. He was a Jewish rabbi. People don't realize that he was not a Christian. He was a Jewish rabbi. And he was speaking in very Eastern teachings, very Eastern ways. And there are very clear messages in that. One of the most obvious ones that people in the West, we don't really understand, is he goes up to a mountaintop to deliver this. And then he sits down and he speaks to them. There's two clues in that alone. The first clue is if he's going to go to the mountaintop to talk, he's going to be talking to his inner circle of followers, not to the masses. So this was a sit down. These were a series of teachings that were the inner teachings, the deeper level teachings. And the second thing is when a teacher in the East sits down, they're delivering their deepest level of teachings as well. They don't stand like we do in churches today. The priest or the preacher or the speaker, lecturer is always standing. Well, in the East, in the ancient ways, when they're giving the really deep stuff, they're seated. And this is how this starts out. You can read right by that and think, oh, it's just part of just the setting up of a scene. It's not. There's some messages. So those are two of the clues right off the bat that most people read right by and miss, in this particular set of teachings called the Sermon on the Mount. But it's an inner spirituality that Jesus was teaching, not an outer one. It was not a new set of commandments called the Beatitudes or the Blessed Ours, as they're known. It's not about that. It's about when you're doing this inner walk, when you're doing this spiritual walk in this very Eastern way, what ends up happening is these qualities start emerging in you. And he's talking to his inner circle of followers and saying, step into these. Move from where you are into these, because this is what will emerge from you. And this is bringing about the kingdom of heaven on earth. And so, yeah.
And they're very practical. Like you were saying, these are practical teachings. These aren't pie in the sky, like a new age. Explain more of what you mean by that.
Well, especially the third of the chapters, this chapter 7, he talks about things like, don't throw pearls before swine. Don't give people things they can't use. Give people things they can use. Another great teaching from that is know a tree by its fruits. Don't follow false prophets. Pay attention to their behaviors, not just their words. If their walk and their talk, they're worth paying attention to. That's a very concrete kind of spirituality that, boy, do we need that today. If you look around the world today, there's a whole lot of people spouting a lot of stuff out there, but the real behavioral things are going a million different directions. So, and that's very practical stuff. The other, judge not. Don't judge others, lest you be judged yourself. The golden rule, treat others like you'd like to be treated. These are very concrete, very specific kinds of behaviors that he talks about. This is the kind of behavior that as you get more attuned to your own inner spirituality, these ways of looking at the world, honor them, walk with them, and build on them. And you'll find a transformation in your own life when you do that. And it's very practical.
Oh, that sounds terrific. And it's 5 evenings.
Yes. We'll start with a meditation, do a silent meditation to start off each class session. And we'll go about an hour and a half each evening. And there'll be time for questions. I'll give some introductory. There'll be handouts that'll come electronically to the students so that you can follow along with some of the materials, some of these deeper level materials. The text that we use is the ancient Aramaic text, translation from Dr. George Lamza to English directly versus the old ways, which most of the Bibles we all walk around with, have lost a lot in the translations over time. So we're very fortunate to have Dr. Lamsa, who grew up in the Middle East. He grew up speaking the Aramaic language. He took the Bible and translated it from Aramaic in its original older text to English directly. So we didn't have to go through all of these other translations through time that we run into. And he found just multiple errors in those translations. So that's our prime text for the course as well. Dr. Rocco Errico, who's one of our teachers in our School of Spiritual Healing and Prophecy, has written extensively, as well as Dr. Lamsa's work, is some of the foundational work of the course. And I'm glad to share a lot of those teachings with the students.
This is something you're very well versed at. You can tell by how well you speak it. And I know from attending other lectures of yours, you're very profound and you keep things moving. So it's sure to be very engaging and not a sleeper. So
yeah, it won't be that. It'll challenge people, because especially folks that grew up with Christian or Judaic roots, it's and maybe you're comfortable in those and maybe you're not. Maybe you rejected some of it, maybe some of it you struggle with or not, what have you. It will help you get the deeper meanings underneath things that you may not have been taught in your upbringing. And that can add tremendous value to the spiritual walk, because it helps you honor some of the religious traditions that are part of you, whether you're comfortable with them or you're not, and help you come to terms with some of those as well. A lot of people have found that to be the case.
Especially with the Lord's Prayer, right? There's a very deep meaning to that one. It
is one of the most profound prayers, but it's just spoken rote, and folks have no idea the deeper levels that are coming in. And when you take the words and the translations from Aramaic right to English, it's like it pops right off the page at you.
Yep. All right, fabulous. Thank you for taking the time just to give us a closer look. And for those who are interested in registering, there will be a link in the description below. So please visit fellowshipspirit.org, or the website, if you're looking for more information or want to register for this course. Thanks again, Mark.
Thank you, Karen. Lovely to speak with you. And folks, we'd love to have you. We still have some room left for enrollment. So we'd love to have you join us. Thank you.